Hello, friends, and welcome. October 16th, 2022, Virtual Strangers, episode 107. I am your host, Wes. With me, as always, is my good friend, Ruuts. Ruuts, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good, actually. Aside from my tripod camera flipping off the back of the thing, I was like, man, like 1 second before we're about to start. The perfect timing. So there's a little bit of me and a little bit of Wes in the delay. I would apologize, but you guys are used to it. So we appreciate you being here.
Suicidal camera.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. It did kind of fall back on some things that if it hit the right way, it probably could have broke. So yeah, I don't like it on tripod. The thing I had it on the arm broke a while back, the little clamp. So now I just have this big thing with a knob sticking out of it, so that I can't attach it to. It's kind of a bummer.
You know who loves the big thing with a knob sticking out of it?
My mom!
Oh man, right off the bat, she's getting dirty and she's ready. It's crazy.
Sometimes I forget it's Sunday and I think it's after midnight. Welcome, friends. Roots, boy, we have a lot to talk about today, but it's weird because it's like all Connect stuff. But you know, it's funny because we have a show full of Connect stuff, no hardware talk. We're not going to talk a bit about that $1,500 monstrosity. The time has passed for this talk. We're going to talk about the important stuff, the nitty gritty.
Yeah, exactly. We already decided that's overpriced and for specific audience. So.
But it was an interesting show, and a lot of interesting takes coming out of it. Obviously, I mean, it was very businesslike. It certainly seemed like it was aimed at investors, and a lot of people took it as confirmation that, you know, what we had already feared was true, and that was that Meta really doesn't care all that much about gaming. And I was no different. I kind of had that take on it too, coming out of it directly. But on second look and on second thought, from a gaming perspective, it wasn't that bad. I would say that it was even a little bit better than last year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Mash was saying, he wasn't even expecting to see any games talked about, right? We actually got games in there. Last year, it was like, well, for one, we actually got hardware. We may have not wanted the hardware, but last year it was like we had nothing. We were standing there with our ding dong in our hand, and we're like, "What is happening? Where? What is going on?" And this year, at least, we had something to look at. So,
Yeah, they opened the box.
yeah, that's right. We got to see what was in the box. No wonder why they closed it for such a long time, because it's so overpriced. And this is the crazy thing. And I'm not saying that it's not going to be a good headset, but if this headset had came out a year ago, would we have been more excited? Like maybe 2 years ago? I don't know. Like I feel like somebody was saying in the Discord, the hardware is just not that impressive for people that have the Quest 2 outside of the AR and the pancake lenses, and of course the design. I mean, but for the most part, it's kind of the same headset, right? So it's kind of exactly what Bradley said it was going to be. Everyone was going to be underwhelmed, and I absolutely was not, because I was ready. I had expectations, right? So
they're doing demos now, right? Like Best Buy.
Wow, that's crazy. So what, you get to demo the AR? They have some AR games. Oh my God, they've got like a really cool AR, like new AAA game. Oh wait, that's like 5 years.
There's some cool stuff. There's some cool stuff that has been announced for it. Of course, we're not talking about any of that shit today. It's all in the on the cutting room floor for those of you who subscribe on our Patreon. But yeah, I mean, there was some pretty cool stuff. Resolution Games doing a game. There's a I Expect You to Die thing. You know, there's a few cool looking mixed reality things, and I imagine that we're going to see more over the coming years, because I do think the mixed reality is going to be the focus. Bradley has kind of convinced me that when we do finally get our Quest 3 next year, that mixed reality is going to be all the rage.
Oh, cool. And we won't have to pay so much money for it. We'll be a year behind, and we really won't miss that much. I mean, there will be some stuff. I remember I just saw an article from Upload VR this yesterday, and it was talking about how amazing hand tracking is now compared to where, and it was like a comparison, right? And I was thinking, motherfuckers, you were talking about it like it was the bee's knees back then. Now it's like even, oh, now it's actually good. And a year from now, they'll say it's actually working. So it's so hyped up. The hand tracking, all these extra gimmicky things. And for the most part, outside of what you just named, I think for the most part, it's going to be a gimmicky year or so. And then we'll start to see. I don't even, maybe these games won't even come out for a while. Like, who knows? Did they announce dates for the Resolution game or the...
Yeah, I think they're out or they're getting ready to be out.
Okay.
Yeah. The stuff that was announced is out for the most part.
Okay. Well, I'll be interested to hear about it because I will not be seeing it firsthand, but somebody who will, Artful will be seeing it firsthand because he's picking up a headset from Amazon UK, right? So
Artful is weak. Could not take it. The new hardware being out there. I'm proud of Mash. For being able to hold out this long. God knows if I had the money in the bank, I would have already ordered one myself. It's cool tech. It really is. I just, I'm kind of with you where I don't think it's essential for a VR gamer. But, man, there's some cool bells and whistles on that thing that I would love to be able to play around with.
yeah, absolutely. Mash says he, according to the chat a minute or two ago, or 5 minutes ago, maybe he's changed his mind. He's still not getting the Quest Pro. All of a sudden, he'll be typing, I just picked it up. I changed my mind. But yeah, it says it's just not worth it at this point. Can't justify it as a gaming headset, and that's exactly it. For me, it would have to have been a gaming headset, a PCVR headset. I don't want another headset that's not DisplayPort for my PCVR. I don't. I already am unhappy with it not having an actual HDMI or a DVI connection. So
Right. Anyway, so much for Meta not caring about gaming. I think when as time goes on, when we look back at Connect 2022, if we look back at it for anything that was significant long term, I think maybe the partnerships that were announced during the event might end up being the story, because something we've been speculating about for years at this point. We're finally starting for the first time ever to see some actual evidence of it, as Xbox Cloud Gaming is now being announced as it's coming to Quest 2. So if you have a standalone Meta headset, and they didn't announce a release date for this, but the impression you get is that it's not going to be very long. You're going to be able to pair up an Xbox controller to your headset, put the thing on, and stream Xbox games, which is a huge. I mean, that's a big selling point for new users, for flat gamers. But beyond that, the kind of the headline for me is that, all right, now Microsoft and Meta are in bed together. That's a big deal.
yeah, absolutely, that's a big deal, especially since Microsoft specifically came out and said they're not interested in VR in the hardware. They're interested in the software. And we actually theorized this was going to happen, and we said they may even be able to hook up to their console, right? The Meta headset. And that's probably, I don't know, that seems like it's going to happen to me. I mean, this partnership doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I mean, it's just one more thing that points to them. It would make sense, right? So
yeah, and during the keynote, they did, the Microsoft CEO did kind of allude to potential expansion of their partnership outside the scope that was announced this year. So I do expect this to be something that grows, and I think it's going to be significant for a number of reasons. You already alluded to the possibility of Oculus Link, or Quest Link, I guess they call it now, coming to Xbox, which would be big. We've talked about it many times, how it would be a huge win for both sides. But even beyond that, Microsoft is by far the leader in cloud technology, and we've noted a few times now how Meta has taken an interest in cloud streaming, because that's the fastest way to kind of bridge the performance gap between, larger home-based and location-based solutions and mobile. I mean, you don't have to have a bunch of compute on board your standalone headset if you've got supercomputers in the sky beaming the games and the avatars right into the thing for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Then you get that targeted headset we want, right? It's like a pair of sunglasses almost. It's super light, and because all that computing power isn't in there, so all you have left is the frame and the lenses and all the stuff to make it work. So
Yeah. So while certainly the partnership does extend well beyond the scope of just gaming, there was a lot of cool gaming news there. And, that wasn't the only thing that was significant for Meta Gaming, as Meta acquired three new studios, bringing their grand total roots to nine. And let me tell you, man, for a company that isn't interested in gaming, they've been spending an awful lot of money picking up some of the best game studios in the world.
I know, dude. Beat Games, MASH. They picked up Beat Games. That was the best one of the mix of the nine. But look at this. We got Resident Evil 4. Wolvie was just saying his kid's been playing, starting to get into VR finally, and this is the game that's pulling him in. Wilson's Heart, Iron Man. Like, I don't know, man. It seems like to me, like you said, for a company that isn't interested in gaming anymore, that they are investing in gaming, right?
Yeah, and this is kind of a big surprise. Like, not so much that Meta is buying more studios. I mean, again, they've got a stable of nine altogether now, and there's not one weak link in the bunch. I mean, they're all heavy hitters, proven VR studios. It really is quite an impressive collection. But really, the big surprise for me with this headline is which studios that they picked up. I mean, maybe not so much Armature, the team that pretty much built Resident Evil 4 for Quest. I mean, that isn't a big surprise. But Camouflage, I was almost certain that Camouflage was going to be picked up by Sony. They had such a close working relationship over the last few years with Sony. I mean, they've even opened up an office in Tokyo. I mean, it started to really look like a likely thing. Now they're a Meta studio, which is cool, which is great, surprising, but great. But really, the kind of thing that threw me for a loop is Twisted Pixel. Like, Twisted Pixel going to Meta is a big deal, and I don't feel like anybody's quite recognizing just yet what a big deal that is. This, you mentioned this is the team behind Wilson's Heart. They also did another game called Defector, if you'll remember,
Oh yeah.
which was pretty fucking awesome too. So yeah, another heavy hitter VR studio going to the Meta ecosystem, and while a lot of people are saying that Meta has abandoned gaming, I don't think that they've done that at all. I think they're back burnering it, and next year when we get the gaming focused device, when they launch the Quest 3, that's when I think we're going to see the dam break on studios like Twisted Pixel and I mean, what are some of the others? Sanzaru. What's Sanzaru been doing?
Yeah.
I guarantee you they're making a banger Quest 3 game.
Yeah, absolutely. It says here that they can't reveal what they're working on, but the studios are going to bring to VR what the company calls ambitious and forward-thinking games. So hopefully that's good. I mean, that sounds good to me. In 2022, that could be like the most fucked up thing in the world. But it sounds good to me. So I'm hoping that we're going to see some really cool games that are going to. I think they're, like you said, they're forward thinking to Sony and what Sony's about to start bringing out. Right? They got to start bringing out some big gun games. So.
Yeah, we're about to move into the golden age for VR gaming, and it's probably actually going to be 2024 before it hits its full stride. But man, when it gets here and we start getting new games from Valve, new games from Meta, new games from Sony, Unreal Engine comes into its own. I mean, a really, really bright future ahead for gaming, and that does, yes, include Meta.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, they've been leading the way the whole time in different respects, right? So.
In every respect, pretty much. I mean, the industry's in a great spot right now, and it's 90% due to Meta's investment and Meta's vision. So as much as we like to shit on them and trash them for some of their shortcomings, I mean we do owe them quite a bit.
Yeah, I just blame Zuck because he's just a very awkward person.
Brad's in the chat. What's up, Brad? He says if a company like Xbox or PlayStation could choose to sacrifice their gaming focus to create something like the next iPhone or PC platform, they would have done so in a heartbeat. Yeah, I think sometimes we kind of forget that Xbox is a brand and it's not a company, right? And PlayStation is a brand and it's not a company. Like Xbox is a Microsoft brand, and Microsoft has their hand in so many different ventures, and as does Sony. Although I would say that Sony is a pretty much entertainment focused across most of its business. I wouldn't count them out, Brad. To be quite honest, I think that they, as the metaverse becomes established and more companies kind of jump in and it becomes more and more mainstream, we'll start to see more involvement from Microsoft and Sony. They're just they're not taking the same approach that Meta is taking. Meta isn't willing to wait for the market to establish itself. Meta's trying to make it happen, right? Where other players that have been around a lot longer are just waiting for their time to get in.
And Brad actually he says that was a dumb example. He should have said Nintendo, and that's a perfect example of somebody that's on the other side, really, that takes the exact opposite approach. They wait until everything's perfect, and then they roll out their version of a really cool. I think even to the fact that they're still their console is still 720, right? Or maybe it's 1080 now, but just became 1080. So
yes, Nintendo always does the same thing, and they're so good at what they do. So if Nintendo ever does VR, and they will, this is what they'll do. It'll probably be 2 or 3 years from now, at least, and they'll come out with a headset that technically, in terms of specs, is probably something in line with Quest 1. If we're lucky, it'll be, along the lines of Quest 2, but at the time, it will seem outdated to all the top of the line stuff. But what they'll do with that headset is that they'll have a few cool pieces of tech, both on the hardware side and software side, that are unique to them, things that people have never thought about doing before. Simple things, but things that work in a very unique and interesting way. And then they'll support that with their catalog of IPs, which is second to none. They'll bring Mario out, they'll bring Zelda out, they'll bring Metroid out, all of these titles that we've been playing since we were children, and they'll support their subpar hardware with that, and it'll be the hottest thing since sliced bread. It'll be something that they can manufacture at a low cost and something that they can sell for a premium. That's why Nintendo is as successful as they are, and it's actually a brilliant strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. Scion VR joining the chat says, looks like my next headset's going to be a PSVR 2, most likely. And then he said, Valve save me. Well, maybe Bradley has some knowledge. Maybe it's coming out sooner than you think.
I don't think so. I don't think the Valve headset's coming soon. We did have some news this past week, and I didn't put the headline in here, but there was a group of job listings for Valve, which make it very obvious that they are building a next-gen VR headset. But it sounds to me, if you read these listings, like this isn't something that's about to come out. This is something very much still in the design stages. Now, it could be possible that they're hiring for whatever comes next after Deckard. Maybe they need people to design that. But, reading through these job listings, it sounds very much like they need people in there that's going to help design what the next product's going to be. And if that's the case, I mean, it may be 2 or 3 years before we see the Valve headset.
Wow. What are the odds that, say, we go down that future road of where Scion VR does get that PlayStation VR 2, and of course he's got to get the PlayStation 5 to do that, and he's just like, oh my, this is like the best thing I've ever had. Like he's so happy that he didn't get, that everything happened this way, because it's going to take a lot of things to get him into a PSVR 2 headset, and it sounds like we're almost there, Wes.
Yeah, man, it's easy to get or it's a lot easier to get the consoles now. Sony announced this past week that their last month of sales up 400%.
Oh, Jesus.
Versus the previous month. And like I said on Wednesday, I personally have received 2 invitations from Sony in 2 separate email accounts to purchase one, again, another one myself. And for the record, I bought one from Amazon on launch, but I've already bought one from Sony as well for someone else. So I got an invitation, I don't know, it's probably close to a year ago now, that I didn't need. Obviously, I already had my console, so I knew someone in our community that was looking for one, and they trusted me enough to send me the money, and I ordered it for them and sent it to them. So, yeah, I mean, they're getting very easy to come by, and I do think that we're going to see these things on store shelves probably for Black Friday.
Yeah, that'd be cool, right?
Yeah, it is going to be cool. Time's flying, man. Like, before you know it, we're going to have that headset. Like, time is literally flying by now. So,
and the sun is pulsing. I just was reading an article. I was talking about the sun's doing some weird pulsating thing. Oh, God, man. We need one more thing, please. One more thing to come on. Just bring it on. We need one more.
Yeah, that's just my luck. The sun will explode right before we get the PSVR 2.
Oh, God, no. We need I want at least 1 month of PSVR 2 goodness, and then it can destroy the world.
Brad wants to know, did we hear about the new Valve game trademark that none of the Valve data miners can figure out which project it's for? Hope it's VR supported. If you're talking about the Neon thing, what's it called? Neon Prime? Yes, I did hear about that. And there's really nothing else that was said about it. They trademarked the phrase Neon Prime in a gaming context, but no one knows what it is. Like, it could be anything.
That's weird, right? Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah. Maybe that's what the sun's going through, is a phase called the Neon Prime phase.
Well, leave it up to Gabe to make sure he's got a thing on that for that terminology, the Neon Prime.
I bet it's a cross collaboration with Amazon, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Amazon Prime
and Neon. Yeah.
Artful says it sounds like an NFT token.
It could be. Well, everything's going NFT. NFTs don't make sense to me, but they will. They will make so much sense when. And I use the example of just quickly, of World of Warcraft, of spending 20,000 gold on a mount. You know what I mean? Like, that's just one thing in one game. Imagine you have this VR metaverse where you can drive this amazing vehicle or whatever it is everywhere you go, and they're in VR, and you know what I mean? Like, when you can actually use these NFTs, they'll make sense. Right now, it's so gimmicky as well, but it's going to be big when the right ones drop.
Artful says it could be a Kojima game. That would be cool. That would probably be my favorite possible thing that it could be.
Sounds
like Kojima VR game.
Sounds like a good racing game. Right? Neon
that's
Prime.
True. Yeah, it's a Transformers game. Anyway, let's say hello to our friends in chat, Ruuts. We do have some cool headlines to get in today, and I don't want to burn up too much time dilly-dallying here. Lou's Reviews is in the chat saying the sobering thing. Well, he says message retracted is what he says.
Oh.
So thank you, Lou, for joining us. Spry Guy says from now on there will be no virtual stranger shows that Ruuts does not mention. Well, he hasn't mentioned it yet, so we're going to just move on. So maybe we'll get through one,
Well, I did mention a little bit, but I'm not going to talk about it.
Tatum's in the chat. as is Tiffany. Good to see you, Tiffany. Tiffany says that with the prices the way they've been, who knows what Sony will price the PSVR 2 at? Well, I'll tell you who knows. Weaseldamus knows. Westradamus is telling you right now that it's going to be $449 US. That's going to be the price. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I was leaning more towards the $600 price, but that's not knowing shit about it. So I'll take Wes's prediction and run with it. 450. You heard it here.
I just have a feeling that's what's going to be. What's up, Masher? Good to see you, friend. Onakazi, Wolveraza, Thomas McNostril, Funky Sloth. Friends all around, good to see you. Decepticon is here. Artful, we already said hello to. Brad, we already said hello to. Spry Guy, what up? Chris Richardson. Technoglitch, what's up? Michelle B, good to see you. Corporate Zombie is here. JES is here. Could have swore Pico 4 was said to only be $60 more. Okay. I think I'm getting in on the end of a conversation there. Rob Perry is here. Space Denison is here. Hello, friends. Scion is here. Alakazam, good to see you. Scion actually enlightened me the other day, Roots, that, and I meant to put it on our format today, but I forgot. Firmament has been officially pushed into next year.
Oh.
Early next year, but the game is finished. They're just in the polishing phases pretty much, and they know that their fans specifically hold them to a very high standard, and they want to be able to meet that standard when they launch their game. So I can respect that, and I will gladly wait.
Yeah, I'd rather them wait, and it doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, this is Cyan is attached to it, and they don't put out crap games, right?
No, they do not, and this is the first one that they've ever built from the ground up with VR in mind. Now, it's not a VR-only title, but their previous titles, as great as they were just ports into VR from flat. This game, they've known this game is going to be a VR game since they started developing it, and that's why I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, me too.
Mickey Barrios, what up? Hack, what's up? Ryan Brannon is here. Daniel Kaz is here.
Did you see what Rogue TR says? I run 10 kilometers every Monday morning, and now I listen to you guys while I run. Just stop for a second to say hi.
Awesome. Thank you for being a part of our community. We very much appreciate it. Welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're getting a lot of new people here lately, Roots. I think we've kind of had the perfect storm with more and more game cats coming in. A lot of Brad's audiences come over since we've had him on a couple of times. I think Crewcast. That's right. And I think that the algorithm has even stopped hating us as much as it has in the past.
Thank you, algorithm. Thank you.
Yeah. Because we're starting to get views, like our videos now. They'll have their initial boost like they have always had. The first day is always strong, and then it goes away. Well, now we're starting to get like a second burst.
Oh, we got a second burst. All right.
On day 3, where people watch the videos. So I think that might be YouTube helping us out.
They say the third tier, when you hit that third boost. No, I don't know. I wonder if there's got to be something when people say, man, when you hit that third boost, you're going to know it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be like Back to the Future with the train, right? The third thing, you throw it in the fire and go flying.
Well, the price of admission is steep to the third boost, Roots. You've got to start doing dumb shit like mouth gape thumbnails and clickbait titles. Yeah. Never, friends. Never. Before I would do that on this channel, I would scrap this channel and start a new one. I would this channel, I feel like we've put in too much time into remaining pure and keeping it real on this channel to ever go back on that now, even if we wanted to.
What I was thinking is, like, we're so close. We're at what 1.93 Okay, I was like, man, there's only like less 70 or less people need to join. Like, man, what do we got to do to get? It's taking so long to get to 2K, right? Like, so we're coming up on 4 years, right? Is that right, or am I wrong? Or like, fuck,
yeah,
man,
we're
time's
about
flying.
yeah, we're at about 3.5 years right now. That's right. And it had slowed to a crawl up until about a year ago. And when we did the channel refresh,
We brought
things
Mash
started.
on.
Yeah, we brought Mash on. That's right. And yeah, it's been all downhill since then. So
You mean? Oh yeah, downhill. I was thinking uphill. No, yeah, downhill.
downhill. Right. Radio Runt, what's up, friend? Good to see you, Idaho.
Idaho.
Thank you. Dark Angel, good to see you. Says, I'm getting off of the phone and watching it on TV, but I'm here with you all in spirit.
It's better
Indeed
on the
you
TV.
are. That's right. You can see my lovely face
Yes.
in all its glory on your TV screen. Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry is here. Good to see you, friend. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Island Kara says Quest 3 Xbox compatible. I think that is certainly likely. Not likely, but certainly possible. Yeah, it's very possible. Chinatown D. What up? D up late playing After the Fall last night, as was my wife. I knew it. Like, my wife always, I get off work right around the break of dawn, and I always text the wife on my way home to see if she needs anything. I text her this morning. I get no response. I wait 20 minutes, text her again from the grocery store, no response, and then I know she was up playing After the Fall with D last night. And sure enough, I get home. What was the case? She was up. She was up shooting zombies or snowbreed.
D, you're keeping Michelle up. What are you doing?
Terry Blanchard, hi Roots, Wes, great show. Quest Pro should follow NVIDIA and unlaunch it as Quest 3 for $5.99. I'd be down with it for $5.99. I'd be down with it probably if it were $8.99, to be quite honest.
Science said he would $1,200. He would have bought it. He says $1,500 is just too much. Let's put it in comparison. I can get a 4090 for that same price. You know what I mean? Or maybe a little bit, was like $1,599 or something. Somewhere around $1,500. Not that I'm looking to get another video card, but
you could build a pretty good computer for that, man, with the 3000 series card.
Yeah, absolutely. You were just saying somebody had gotten a used one for like $600 for 3080. So I mean, this is the thing. That's a lot of money for the AR tech is what you're getting. Really, pancake lenses. That's just not enough for me.
And let me be clear. I want to play with this stuff so much. Like I want to dick around with that mixed reality and all these cool tech demos that are going to be coming out over the next year. It's just not worth that kind of coin to me. Now, if I was like rich and had money coming out of my ass, I'd be all over it. But I'm not yet. Yeah,
that's right. You'll get them. Or, Meta wants to send us one with no strings attached. That'd be great. Although I don't see how you don't get strings attached. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think they do. Honestly, we've seen people like Blair Renaud out there be very vocal.
That's true.
In his skepticism, be very vocal about his skepticism regarding the Quest ambassadors. But we've seen a couple of our friends who are ambassadors be very critical of Meta, and not only that, but promote Pico. Like Gamertag VR has like been at the forefront of people out there promoting Pico and what they're doing, and he's like a top ambassador. He's like even over the regular ambassadors. So
that's true.
I don't think there's, at least up until now, I don't think there have been any real strings attached on the coming from Meta.
Cool. Well, I want one then for free.
What's up, Hussein X? Lincoln Clay. Oh, Lincoln Clay gave us a super chat. I didn't even catch it. Thank you, Lincoln Clay. It says 4090 and Reverb G2 on the way for me this week. That is fucking awesome, man.
That's amazing.
That's going to be so good.
Yeah, let us know how good it is. Let us know how the 4090 performs, because I was just watching Jay's 2 cents and it looks pretty good, pretty powerful.
Yeah, and if you have any trouble with your G2, hit me up and I can maybe give you some tips to get everything ironed out. After you get it dialed in, then it's plug and play. But it is a bit of a culture shock moving off of Meta products and onto a different kind of ecosystem. It works a little bit differently. It has different little things that you have to work around. But after you get used to it, man, it's pretty nice.
You might not need to work around much with that 4090. You know what I mean? Like, as a 3080 Ti, it's like I don't have to turn much down. I can only imagine with that. I think it's like 50% more. They said over the 3090 Ti, the 4090 is crazy.
Yeah, it's impressive. Greg's VR, hello. Ray Pope, there's a Ray Pope sighting. Good to see you, friend. Ray Pope at a live show. Always love when that happens. Apj or Ape. Is it Ape Roots?
I think it is. It sounds like Ape. Awesome Tatum had. This is the thing, and apparently, I mean, you just got yours is fresh. Whoever said they just bought theirs, right? But Awesome Tatum says his G2 USB cables kept breaking, so he finally gave up, and that's what just happened to Wes, right? Or something just broke, right? The cable?
Yeah, it was the cable. And the cable's shorting out. When I turn my head, my screen's blank. I've been playing Rift S for about 3 weeks now.
Slumming it.
Yeah, slumming it on my Rift S because my fucking Oculus Link is a piece of shit. Like, it doesn't want to connect, and I don't want to spend 10 minutes getting my headset to connect when I want to play. I want to plug it in and play. So, yeah, we're Rift S all the way.
You need to troubleshoot that one day because it's never connected properly, right? Like, it's just been there's some conflict there or something's going on.
Well, there's I'm talking even like wired link. There's always some bullshit. You have to restart the headset or restart the computer. I don't want to do all that crap, man. I really don't. Just so that
Oh, go ahead.
No, I want to go through all that trouble just so I can put on a headset that's not even as comfortable anyway. You know.
That's exactly what happens to me every time I try to. Either it seems like the Rift S too, except for the Rift S is easier. It's just usually unplug the USB and plug it in another USB. For whatever reason, it just says it's not finding the USB, bro. You need to replug it in. So
that happens to me very rarely, and whenever it does, I just go straight into the Oculus software and tell it to restart the software. And
so it's just maybe a software issue, huh?
Yeah. I just close the Oculus client and open it right back up, and it works. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 5 seconds, and no big deal. Anthony Man Wexford is here. Hawk 107 is here, or at least was. Anyway, that's as far up as my chat window will allow me to go. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If I missed you, I apologize. We love you. Thank you for being here.
I feel like, I know you don't know this reference, but other people do, but I feel like this is our own version of Romper Room. And we, like they had that magic mirror and they would say, she'd say, I see Johnny and Billy, and you'd always be sitting there listening to your name, and we have our own VR Romper Room, Wes.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I do not get the reference, but I'll take your word for it.
I know a lot of people out there do. Let me know, everybody in the chat, if you know what I'm talking about, and you'll be surprised, Wes.
Probably. Anyway, let's get into some headlines. We just talked about it. Meta obviously still investing heavily in gaming, and last year we got a few new titles announced at last year's Connect, and we came out of it completely disappointed. This year, we really only got 1 or 2 new titles announced altogether, and everyone was pretty satisfied with it from a gaming standpoint. It just goes to show you, again, what an impact your own expectations can have on how you receive an event. But anyway, Meta making it clear that they're still going to be a force in the gaming for many years to come, And nothing made that more obvious than the big announcement that they led off with.
Your past has caught up with you.
Why'd you stop selling weapons, Tony?
You can't change the past.
I want to change the world.
All systems back online.
Look alive out there, Stark!
The world needs you, Tony. The world needs Iron Man.
Iron Man VR breaks free from cords and load screens on Quest 2. This from Harry Baker at Upload VR. At launch in 2020, Marvel's Iron Man VR was a fantastic PSVR game that allowed you to truly embody Tony Stark and his iconic suit of armor. However, the game was also hindered in places by the hardware that it ran on. With Iron Man VR flying on the Quest 2 next month, it looks like developers Camouflage are able to fully realize their original vision for the game. Quote, "The team really tried to punch above its weight," said Camouflage founder Ryan Payton, reflecting on the PSVR launch. "We shipped a pretty big game for the platform. We pushed some really impressive visuals. We pushed out a gameplay dynamic that really hasn't been done by any other game studio. But we did it in a way that didn't really lean into the core strengths of the platform." After playing a few missions of Iron Man VR on Quest 2 this week, it's clear that Quest 2 is a much better fit for the game. The game's core fantasy is able to come through in a much more pure fashion on Quest, said Payton. Not only is it a more freeing experience, but several pain points from the PSVR release are nowhere to be seen. The most notable change, or at least noticeable, depending on how you look at it, is the very short loading times. On PSVR, Iron Man VR was notorious as a fantastic experience let down by unfathomably long load screens. While the Camouflage team was happy with the general response to the PSVR release, the load times were one area that always remained problematic, limited by PS4's old hard drive technology. "We wish we could have done more when it came to the load times on PSVR, but it wasn't due to a lack of effort. Thanks to the flash storage on Quest 2, this is no longer a problem. The solid-state flash storage makes all the difference. With cinematics and missions loading in a matter of seconds, you'll forget it was even an issue. We had discussions whether or not we even need a load screen for some of the missions," said Payton. "It's so fast. Why do we even need to show the player that the game's loading?" PSVR was also a tethered headset with just one external camera for tracking, requiring some technical workarounds and cable management to play with 360-degree movement. On Quest 2, Iron Man VR is wire-free, and you can play with full range of unobstructed movement. It's a delight to fling yourself in any direction using quick, physical turns. 360-degree combat and flying has never felt better. It just feels like the players have been able to experience the core essence of what we were looking to create from the very beginning, said Payton, which is to deliver on the ultimate superhero fantasy, pairing Iron Man with VR. Marvel's Iron Man VR launches November 3rd for Quest 2. Keep an eye out for our full review at launch. Ruuts, so big surprise number one coming out of MetaConnect. This another Sony exclusive bites the dust, so to speak, and makes its way over to the dark side.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's good news for all of us in a sense. I know it's not PC VR, but you know, Sony's, to me, they're showing that their old library is they're willing to sell it, you know, or at least let it be on other platforms. It's starting, maybe not the PSVR. This may be the only one that comes over to another platform. I don't know, but we're seeing other games go to Steam, right? We're seeing another game that the Little Big Planet is going to Epic. So it's kind of like everything's. I mean, it's not like everything's changing. Everything's changing, and Sony's they're doing different things than they used to do, and so I'm excited about this. I think it's interesting that they said that it's tether free, right? Because that's not what the problem was with the PSVR. What I'm excited about is actually being able to turn around and being able to actually turn around and not having to tell me to turn back to the fucking front. You know what I mean? It's not going to matter. I could play it with my link cable and it'll be just as good. I guarantee. I know Wolvie will disagree. I'll still whip around with that fucking link cable on there just like the same. And it'll be amazing. And so I am looking forward to it. And I didn't play through the entire thing because of the load screens and because of the the limited scope of having to face forward. It's jarring sometimes.
Yeah. When I first saw this story, I kind of had an inkling that maybe it was a timed exclusive, like Sony had maybe only secured the rights for it for X amount of time. But as the segment played out during the Connect keynote, they thanked Sony. They thanked Sony for the partnership. Which is very interesting to me, man, and goes back to what we were alluding to at the top of the episode, where I think maybe some of the biggest headlines or things that this Connect will be remembered for long term were the partnerships that were announced.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot more stuff going on behind the scenes. And Funky Sloth wants to know, is Insomniac working on a PSVR 2 game? Do we know any info on that?
It hasn't been confirmed, but I can guarantee you that they are. Insomniac is a company that has a pretty rich history with VR game development. I think they've shipped 3 games for Oculus exclusives, and having been picked up by Sony a couple of years ago, and with Sony wanting to place such an emphasis on immersive gaming in the next generation, I would be shocked if Insomniac wasn't working on at least one VR game, probably more.
Yeah. Sony will get Beat Saber in return, is what Thomas McNostril says. Who knows? That'd be interesting, huh?
Well, they've already got Beat Saber, but maybe they'll get the sequel in return, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know that they're going to have an amazing sequel. They're going to have new blocks and everything. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, they're going to be different colors.
Different colors, different
sabers.
They're going to be balls. Yeah. They'll be
Yeah.
round. They won't be square. It'll be legendary. It'll be crazy.
But yeah, man, I'm excited to check this out on Quest to see. Again, I'm always so curious with the ever expanding capability of this hardware in the hands of capable developers. And if Camouflage proved anything with what they did on PSVR, it's that they can get a lot out of the hardware, right? They can get more than most. So it's going to be cool to see not only how this game plays on the Quest 2, but even, just how it looks. The footage has been very promising.
Yeah, absolutely. And we said it about the PSVR too, that our PSVR rather version is the best superhero game out there that I've played, right? And now it's gonna be even better. So.
Artful says, I wonder if Insomniac would ever do a PSVR 2 version of Stormland. There's actually rumors out there that they're doing just that there's a Stormland remastered in development, as well as a sequel, Stormland 2. Again,
wow.
These are
Confirmed.
These are these are rumors from an unverified leaker, but a well-known leaker. So time will tell whether or not this person knows what the hell they're talking about. But I would be ecstatic with that, man. Like, Stormland's great, and to get a special version of it built for PSVR 2, preceding a full-blown sequel, that would be something to get very excited about.
That'd be awesome.
Anyway, Iron Man 2, not that long to wait, Roots. November 3rd, just a few weeks away. I think that was probably just as surprising to me as the initial reveal itself.
Yeah, 18 days. That's crazy. I can't wait.
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks. And, not only is it coming soon, there's already videos out there, man. They've already provided review copies for a handful of media sources, which just leads me to ask, where's my copy at?
What the hell? What's going on?
Oculus, what are you doing, Oculus? Where's our copy? Man. I checked my spam folder like twice.
Did you
It's
really?
not there.
It should be there. I'm gonna check mine one more time.
Anyway, no, I have a feeling like most Oculus Studios releases, we're going to be paying for this one. That's why we love our patrons so much. They allow us to play these games when jerks like Camouflage won't send us a key.
Yeah, well, let's be fair. You know, I saw all these people that did have it, and they've been doing it this about twice as long. So we're almost there. 4 more years, we'll start getting those games, maybe.
You know, one of the things that I noticed during Connect, which is kind of, not been talked about a whole lot, surprisingly, is that our very own Endeavor One actually helped work on this game with Camouflage, which is a pretty big coup for them. And again, I'm just so proud of them. Congratulations on landing it. I wonder when Meta's going to pick them up, Ruuts.
Yeah, me too. And now I see a connection where maybe we could get a key. We're Endeavor One. No.
This is an Oculus Studios game. I'm sure if Endeavor One had any kind of sway on that, we would already have it in our inbox. But super cool project for them to work on. Of course, Endeavor One, the studio which brought us Arashi, Castles of Sin, and
that is cool for them. That's super cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And what an experience too, right? Getting to work on that hardware. It makes you wonder what they're going to have coming directly from their studio. Maybe we get a Arashi for Quest. That would be cool, right?
That would be cool.
Anyway, a second here. I lost my shit. Anyway, that was not the only big gaming announcement with regards to release date. We also got a release date for a very, very highly anticipated release.
Well, look at you, tourist. If I'd have known you were gonna cause this much trouble. But what's done, it cannot be undone.
Mama's desperate. With the scale of what she's planning, no one will be spared.
Good and evil no longer exist. There is only survival.
Guess you ain't the only one who thrives on creating havoc.
Garrick's a psycho. That bomb suit he wears, I've seen bullets just bounce right off it.
Payback is an honest-to-God force of nature.
Perhaps you have heard the stories about me. That I am mad. That I devour human flesh.
Death draws near, tourist!
Everyone who trusts you winds up dead!
Welcome to the revolution, tourist.
People like us, we must make the difficult decisions.
Are you sure you want to get caught in the middle of that mess, tourist? Wherever the tourist goes, death ain't far behind.
The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 releases December 1st on Quest 2. This again from Harry Baker, Upload VR. Announced at Meta's annual Connect conference, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution releases December 1st for MetaQuest 2. A 60-second trailer debuted during the Connect presentation. However, we have an exclusive longer trailer direct from developers Skydance Interactive, which, by the way, is the version that we just watched. We watched the extended gore version of the trailer, which, by the way, was pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. Not only is this trailer a bit longer than what was shown during Connect, it's also uncensored with extra gore the Walking Dead franchise is known for. Skydance announced Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution in January this year, with the first trailer revealed during MetaQuest Gaming Showcase in April. Since then, we've had a steady trickle of news and gameplay. In June, Skydance confirmed a release on both the original PSVR and the upcoming PSVR 2 headset. Skydance told Upload it would share more information about the game's release on other platforms at a later date. In August, we got a meatier look at gameplay and some new details on what to expect from the follow-up. We learned that Retribution will allow players to traverse around at night, working with limited visibility and more walkers. There's also a whole new area of the map to explore, the French Quarter of New Orleans, which will include access to some new weapons and items. Laser sights will be a welcome addition to any gun in your arsenal, while the new submachine gun and the chainsaw weapons will add hectic new ways to deal with large mobs of walkers. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution releases December 1st for MetaQuest 2. Well, first of all, Roots, this trailer is awesome, and we got to look at a few new things in it that we hadn't seen before, notably grenade launcher. There's a friggin' grenade launcher, man. How cool is that?
That's really cool. Actually, everything about this looks amazing, and people are out. Wolvie's asked what was that, Wolvie? You were asking actually. He said he said he's gonna have to get over the crafting issues. Is there a lot of crafting in this game as well? GC, I'm assuming it's probably very similar. I enjoy. This is the thing. This game, it doesn't feel like crafting to me. Like any other game I've had to craft, where I've had to go out and get shit and come back and craft. You're gathering stuff as you're going along anyway, and then you just make what you need. I never felt like it was grindy. I felt like they did a really good job of making the crafting feel unlike any other game.
Well, that's one of the many things that made the first game so special, is the balancing. That they do a few other things that, you know, weren't firsts in VR gaming, but they did them the best because they're more balanced. For example, not only the crafting and resource gathering more balanced, but the physics. You know, we saw with Boneworks a very literally heavy-handed approach to these kind of realistic physics in VR, to the point that it gets in the way of the gameplay. I feel like Saints and Sinners did the same thing, but they did it perfectly, right? They balanced it out so that it doesn't get in the way of what you're doing. So if things feel like they have way, absolutely, even to the point where you get tired, you know, using certain weapons versus others. But it never got in the way of the gameplay. It always felt natural. It felt like it should feel. And again, just a credit to those developers there that they have in at Skydance Interactive. Very, very talented group who are responsible for what we've said many times is the best game that we've seen in VR. And you know, it's interesting, you know, not only was the game the best of its time, but I feel like here we are going into the sequel, and it's still the original is still the best game in VR.
I know it's gonna be hard for this game to beat that one, right? Actually, I'm sure it's gonna be very easy once we get in there. It just looks so good, and yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a different game. I think with all of the footage that we've seen. You know, obviously very similar in terms of structure. It's going to the gameplay is going to be very similar. You're going to be doing the same sorts of missions. You know, the loop is going to be the same gameplay loop. You're going out exploring maps. You know,
but now you can go at night, right?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, exactly. Things like that. There's a lot more. There seems to be a lot more action in general, not just because you're going out at night. There seems to be more walkers. They've grown in number. Supplies have lessened and they've grown in number, but they're giving us equipment to be able to deal with that. Like, so it's not as big a deal now when we see a horde, because we've got grenade launchers and chainsaws and submachine guns and things that are really good at crowd control. So again, I feel like when you're building upon a foundation like they have with the first game, you don't need big changes in order to make a big difference. I think that with a game like that, it's more about refining the smaller things to really achieve perfection.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the best crowd control I saw in The Walking Dead was I'm not advocating it, but was that horse when Rick got with the horse. Man, it saved his life, right? Like, because they all went for that thing. He was able to get away because of it. Like, so maybe you could have a horse, and maybe not. That would probably piss a lot of people off.
That would be cool, though. I mean, if you could sacrifice living things to get away.
Otis. You could sacrifice Otis. Oh, I didn't like that either. Never mind.
I was about to say, if you're afraid that people would get upset about you sacrificing animals to get away, we could just do it with people. Yeah. Nobody would care about that.
Yeah, nobody did care about that. They were like, oh, yeah, I hate that guy. Actually, I did feel bad for Otis. He didn't deserve it. He's just trying to help.
Well, he did shoot Carl.
Well, Ruuts. That's true. That's true. That son of a bitch deserved to die. Never mind. I changed my mind.
Anyway, the elephant in the room, Ruuts. When's this game coming to PC? When's this game coming to PlayStation? No word. Mum is the word with regards to this this question. Are we going to get it this year?
I hope so.
I hope so too. I don't know though. I'm not so sure.
It'll be a timed exclusive, right?
I don't think that's the case, man. I mean, maybe it is. You know, we only ever really expected this game this year because they said it would be here this year during the meta gaming showcase. So maybe they were just talking about the Quest version all along. Although it would have been nice if they could have clarified that a little bit earlier. Yeah. Because I happen to know a lot of PC gamers are just as hungry for this as the Quest gamers are, if not a little more so.
Part of me, I mean, if I'm being 100% honest, if I didn't do the podcast, I wouldn't touch the Quest 2 version. I'd wait for the PlayStation version, just because I'd want to play it fresh on the best version that's going to be out there. But I can't talk about it when it drops on December 1st if I don't play it. So I'm in this conundrum where I'm going to be forced, damn it, Wes, I'm going to be forced to play Saints and Sinners 2. And I'm probably going to love every second of it.
Yeah, I probably, if I were in that boat, I would probably try not to play it. I don't think I would succeed because it's such a great game, and I love the original so much. I don't think I could wait for the second one, but you know, I think that especially when you're talking about PSVR 2, that there's going to be so many other new features at play that it's going to, you know, it'll be not a brand new experience, but I think it'll be different enough to warrant a second playthrough when the time comes. Really, my biggest, you know, I never really expected PSVR to come this year, be it 1 or 2. My big question is when that PC version is coming, because last time the original launched on PC first. And as you know, many of these games, even standalone games, they're developed on PC, so kind of confusing when the PC version isn't ready.
That is kind of weird. But we did just get confirmation from Gamer Chick Scion VR said PC gamers don't matter anymore, and she said, "Aw, poor Scion VR. That's not true." So what she's saying is that, well, actually, I can't put words in her mouth. What I'm reading into what she's saying is that PC VR is just as important to Skydance now as it always was, and eventually you'll get your game, Scion, that you wouldn't play anyway because it's zombies, right?
So you heard it here first. Retribution coming to PC this year, confirmed.
Confirmed by Tiffany.
Anyway, we've known for a while now that they've been, completely focused on making this game great and very busy, working on it so that they could get it out this year. That's why the other Skydance related announcement was such a shock. Blindsided, Roots. We didn't see it coming. Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Studio reveals their next VR game, Behemoth. This from Scott Hayden at Road to VR. Skydance Interactive, the studio behind the wildly successful zombie shooter The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, revealed their next VR game, Behemoth. Debuted at Connect, Behemoth is still largely a mystery. The team says the Quest 2 and Rift S title. See there? You do matter, Scion. The Quest 2 and Rift S title. Oh, it says Rift S. Sorry, Scion.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Sorry, you're out.
The title is being built from the ground up to showcase everything Skydance Interactive has learned about what it means to fight for your very survival in VR. Although only pure speculation, it seems like Behemoth is a survival game set in a Nordic environment that must include some very big monsters. The only other piece of info we have for now is it's coming to Quest 2 and Rift S, and that it will arrive at some point late 2023.
Oh.
So here's the...
It's only, 30 days between the release and the end of the year.
Right. Well, no, late 2023, Roots. Next year.
2023. I was thinking the other game. Never mind. Yeah, that's in a whole nother year.
So let's start with the obvious thing that no one is talking about. This game is touted for late next year. This is obviously a Quest 3 title. Now they can't come out and say that now, so they're calling it a Quest 2 title, and I'm sure that there will be a Quest 2 version, but I guarantee you that they are working on this game. It is intended to be a title that launches right around the time, if not very long after, the Quest 3 headset drops.
You know what
I think this is... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the thing that I find that's the most interesting about this thing is there's been such a lack of games going to the Rift platform. Like everyone, or the meta platform on PC, whatever you want to call it. It seems like all these games come to Quest and then Steam. Quest and Steam. And then this one is specifically saying Rift S, and it's for next year. And I was kind of feeling like the Rift S store, or the meta PC VR store, was phasing out almost, just by the releases, right? So it's very bizarre to me.
Old Darth says, or it's obviously a PSVR 2 title. Yeah, I think it will be a PSVR 2 title. But again, PSVR 2 is going to be out early next year. It will have been around quite a while when this game drops late next year. We expect Quest 3 to drop in a year's time, basically a year from right now, which again is right around the time that this game is coming. So 2 + 2 = 4, if you ask me.
How crazy is the speculation? It's a survival game, and you know, I mean, the Nordic environment. Obviously, we can guess that, but outside of the words "brutal environment," I can't see anything that would tell me this is a survival game, unless they have some kind of inside knowledge. Because how? Like, I just don't know. Maybe I missed something.
I've seen people reporting on this thing as being a like a Monster Hunter type game, as if it's fact, like it's a known thing. And as I was telling you before the show, I haven't seen any evidence of that at all. Like, I've just seen people saying it, but I haven't seen any kind of leak or any kind of statement from the developer that would indicate that in any way. I mean, that would be cool, but I like the change of pace here. That, like, this is something completely different from Saints and Sinners, which I'm sure is a breath of fresh air for the people working at the studio.
Yeah. Tiffany says, I think Behemoth is a Moss knockoff. I wonder if she would have knowledge on that.
She might. She might. So you heard it here first.
Moss knockoff.
Moss knockoff coming to Quest 3 late next year. Confirmed. Anyway, no, man, it's cool. I mean, there's not a whole lot we could say about it. Obviously, we're excited for it because of the studio that it's coming from. That and the general foreboding vibe of the short teaser that they gave us. I really kind of dig the feels that I get when I watch it. Like, it seems like it's going to have some darkness to it, which, let's be honest, everything that Skydance has done thus far has been somewhat dark in different ways. So this obviously wouldn't be breaking the mold in any way when it comes to Skydance.
Yeah. What's crazy is we're going to turn around, Wes. This is going to be here. It's going to be the end of 2023. We're going to have our PlayStation VR 2s. My beard will be another 6 inches longer, and it'll be just like crazy because it's going to come like that, right?
Right. You should braid it and color it.
I was thinking about it. I don't know, man. At some point, I'm just going to let it. I just want it to maybe, if I could reach it to the ground. You ever heard the story of Rapunzel? No, now I'm going to hang out the window. Somebody can climb up my beard. But it's getting pretty long.
Old Dar says, Shadow of the Colossus in VR. Yeah, baby, bring it on. Yeah, I think a lot of people would be down with that.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities. A Monster Hunter game sounds amazing as well. So.
Yeah, man. You know, the vibes I get from it really remind me a lot of Edge of Nowhere, right? The third-person perspective, the frozen outdoor environments. It really reminds me of one of my favorite VR games.
Yeah, that was so good.
Well, Raza says, with them going into the physics of the chainsaw in Saints and Sinners 2 and the rest, I look forward to some really fun melee of some kind in Behemoth. Yeah, I mean, again, speculation. You know what it looks like, Roots? If I had to guess what that game is, I would say that it's White Hell.
It's White Hell?
White Hell. We've seen Green Hell.
Oh, yeah,
in the jungle. So this is White Hell.
How cool would it be if it was Game of Thrones? You know, I want to be Jon Snow.
White Walkers? That would be awesome.
Yeah, White Walkers.
Like snow zombies. Although I think that Saints, I think this Skydance probably wants to get away from the zombies for a little bit with their titles, but you know, not unheard of.
Something different, right? Yeah. Right.
Endeavor One says, "Yo, finally caught the VS show live. I always get the notice late, and I blame Wes." Sorry, bro. I do what I can.
Yeah. But, well, it's YouTube. I blame YouTube, but we love YouTube. YouTube. Can't say YouTube.
Anyway, we were just talking about you, Endeavor One, and your involvement on Iron Man, and how proud we are of you and happy for you. So, yeah. Congrats.
Yeah,
again
congratulations.
For sure. Nailing that one. Anyway, congrats to Skydance as well on having a very eventful week and having everyone's hype levels on 11. 2 new titles coming up, one very soon, and the other confirmed for Quest 3 next year. Population 1 sandbox mode coming in December. Again, Harry Baker, Upload VR. In December, Population 1 will receive an update adding sandbox functionality that opens the game up to tons of open-ended possibilities. Meta announced the update during its annual Connect conference. Here's a description of what to expect taken from a Quest blog post. Big Box VR will introduce Population 1 Sandbox, a new UGC game creator where anyone can build, share, and play brand new games. Take the action to a moon base, lay siege to a Viking village, fight in zero gravity with nothing but swords. There's plenty to explore. The possibilities are only limited by your imagination. Not a creator yourself? No worries. Discover and play through new or featured community games with friends and vote for your favorites. Population 1 launched in late 2020, offering VR players a chance to squad up and compete in a battle royale fight to the death. The game is heavily inspired, both in terms of gameplay and overall structure, by Epic Games' flat-screen battle royale success story, Fortnite. Just over a half a year after launch, Meta acquired Population 1 developers Big Box VR. Big Box VR have consistently supported the game with a multitude of updates and new content since launch. However, this upcoming Sandbox update looks set to see Population 1 double down on following in the footsteps of Fortnite, which launched its own sandbox tools, Fortnite Creative, in 2018. The Sandbox update will launch later this year in December. However, players on Quest 1 won't be included. Population 1 will end support for all modes on the original Quest headset later this month. Rest in peace, Oculus Quest 1. Ruuts, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that this story has gotten such little attention coming out of Connect. I feel like this is a big deal. It's a level creator, dude. And not only is it level creator, but they're launching it with the infrastructure to share so that people like us who have no interest in making levels can play an infinite amount of new levels. And it's not like they're just giving you the assets that they've already made and letting you remix it. They're allowing you to take this thing literally to outer space if you want to, which is fucking awesome and is going to add even more replayability to an infinitely replayable game.
That's crazy, right? I don't know, man. I feel like I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, no, it's definitely a cool move, and there's some limiting. Let me look at the thing here for a second and see what I was gonna say. I think levels like this are amazing. I'll just leave it at that because I can't remember what it was.
All right, well,
it was good too, Wes. Damn it. You know how you
Wolf
have that in
Rosa
your head.
says, Sandbox sounds like a blast. Cannot wait to get a real internet connection so I can finally get back in and cap out. Stuck at 5 forever.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, and I remember what it was. They're doing it at the same time that they're shedding the fat, right? They're cutting the Quest 1. And a lot of people, or a couple people in the chat, were upset about that. But Endeavor One nailed it. It says like 5% of the people on there now are Quest One. So you're really not. There's not that many people, and it's not. It's not that it's. I mean, I'm feeling good about it because that means these levels that are going to be built are going to be even more next level because they're not going to have the limitation factors of the Quest One hardware. And so we have to realize that things are moving so fast. And it kind of makes you wonder about the Quest 2. How long does it have, you know?
Yeah, people need to realize that they're not just cutting off Quest 1 because they don't like those people. Like, it's not because... Never mind, I was going to make an inappropriate joke. But it's not just because they don't like them, right? It's because it's holding them back in some significant way. And I'm sure that they've catered to that and tiptoed around it for as long as they could. And now it's finally gotten to the point where they're really being held back by the old hardware. Mm-hmm. And at this point, so few people are left playing on it. The only thing that makes sense is to cut it loose. But it had a good run, man. What's Quest 1 been around for, what, 2 years, 3 years now? Like, I mean, it's been around for a while. And I'm sure, you know, if you're still playing on Quest 1, this must, suck. But, I mean, let's be honest. What kind of VR enthusiast is, still sticking to their Quest 1? I mean, it's a good headset to use for PC Link. But in a standalone context, Quest 2 is so much better. And, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that you could upgrade for, you could sell your Quest 1 and put a 50 spot on top of it and upgrade. So...
Yeah, people that didn't do that said it's fine, it's good enough, they're the ones that are complaining now. And right. But that's the way it always works. They're the people that just, they're like when you're in traffic and they realize that they should have merged over 5 seconds ago and they're like still trying to get over. You missed your chance, bro. It's over.
Right. Go up to the next exit and turn around like a normal person. Don't put my family's life at danger by cutting across all the lanes now. It's your fault.
Absolutely.
Some VR enthusiasts say OLED or death. Yeah, all three of them said that, Scion, and they're all waiting still for PSVR 2, honestly.
Well, and this is the thing. They're also about to lose support for Population 1 on their Quest 1s.
That's true. That's true. But, again, it does have an OLED screen, although it is pin tile, and the screen door very noticeable in it. The colors are very rich, and the blacks are deep. It is... when I still had my Quest 1, I used it right up until I sold it as a PC headset. It was very good for that.
Yeah.
So I mean, hopefully, the time will come very soon where you can pick one of those up for like $100 used somewhere and kind of keep it for the PC application.
Yeah.
Endeavor 1 says Quest 1 is still a killer PC VR headset with exactly what I was saying. It's a great PC headset, and I would say there's a lot of value there, especially for someone like Scion, who, if you could get a cheap upgrade, and you don't have to use it to play, your lone, Echo VR or whatever.
Use it for everything else.
Use it for the other stuff, man, and it is a significant upgrade from the CV1 in terms of visuals.
Buy the Quest 2 and buy the controllers. There you go. You have the best controllers out there that are tracked, have their own fucking cameras on them. Crazy.
Anyway, Roots, I mean, Population 1 already a community favorite. People play this game on a weekly basis. I'm really interested in what kind of directions it's going to go now that literally the limits are being taken off of the levels. You hear people, Contractors has kind of had a resurgence lately because of all the customization and modding that's been going on in that game. We're about to see something similar take place in Pop 1, and Pop 1, in my opinion at least, is a much more user-friendly game. Like, it's an easier game to pick up and learn. So sky's the limit when this happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Anyway, we are quickly getting down to toward the bottom of the list of headlines this week. Although there was one more major VR gaming announcement, release date announcement, that dropped loose during Connect. Among Us arrives on VR headsets next month. This from Bobby Carlton at VR Scout. Pre-order now to unlock an adorable mini crewmate hat. MetaConnect 2022 was chock full of exciting announcements. We even got an official release date for Among Us VR, a VR adaptation of the hit multiplayer deduction game from Robot Teddy, Shell Games, and Innersloth. Some lucky folks were even able to sign up for early gameplay with their beta back in August, leaving us slowpokes who didn't sign up in time out in the cold. Now, we can all play the game when it becomes available on Steam, MetaQuest, and Rift Store next month for $9.99. To spice up the excitement, you can pre-order the game now on the MetaQuest store to unlock a mini crewmate hat pre-order bonus. Just like the original game, you'll play as a part of a crew made up of 4 to 10 players and complete various tasks through a labyrinth-like spaceship, all while keeping lookout for the murderous impostor. If you do happen to notice any fishy behavior, you can use voice chat or text to alert your fellow crewmates or call a meeting. Among Us VR will launch just in time for the holidays, and we can't wait to hear how family and friends band together and betray each other as they complete tasks aboard the Scaled 2, said Victoria Tran, community director for Innersloth, in an official press release. The VR version of Among Us remains true to the spirit of the original game, while also giving players an all-new way to experience the chaos and thrill of accusing your friends of murder. At launch, Among Us VR will include in-game chat, mini-games, customization, comfort and safety options, cross-platform play, locomotion, localization, and achievements. We've worked on a lot of different projects, but working with Innersloth and Robot Teddy to bring Among Us VR to VR platforms was fulfilling in many ways, said Shell Games CEO Jesse Shell. Together, we created something that will delight the existing Among Us community, create new fans who will experience Among Us for the first time in a headset, or entice supporters of the original game to try VR for the first time. Let the emergency meetings commence. Ranjani Natarajan, director of Robot Teddy, was excited about bringing this popular title into VR. For Natarajan, Among Us was a title that brought communities and complete strangers together during a collectively unusual and difficult time, and Among Us VR lets players embody that same intensity and liveliness. Who doesn't want to roleplay hilarity, intrigue, and some juicy backstabbery in virtual reality over the holidays. Among Us VR launches on Quest, Rift, and PSVR headsets on November 10th, 2022. Players can now pre-order Among Us VR for $9.99. Visit the Among Us VR website, join their Discord, and follow the game on Twitter for all types of groovy updates. So here we are, Ruuts. I don't know, man. I wasn't, I never played Among Us before. I never really got into it. And I wasn't super excited about the game when I first heard that it was coming to VR. But the closer this thing gets and the more we see it, the more this just feels like a big deal. Like I feel like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like this is going to be something that catches on pretty quickly.
Yeah, this is the thing. This was a big streaming game for a while. I don't know if it still is or not, but all the big streamers did. So all the younger crowd, actually everybody, is aware of what this game is. And I have played it. I played it flat. I actually streamed it flat sometimes, and I've played the VR chat version of it, which was pretty cool, but it had its limiting factors. It had the biggest thing was the lobby allowed as many people to join as it could, and you had to have 10 people, so you'd have 11 people in there, and you couldn't start the game because there was one extra person. And now if you weren't the leader, you're begging somebody, please leave or please kick somebody. And so I'm assuming that won't be the case in this, but what a cool game. It's I like Endeavor One says it's a detective game. Basically, you're watching to see if you're not the killer. You're watching everybody's moves. Everybody's got a task of shit to do, and they'll give you like a list of things and everybody's got to do all these tasks before you can repair the ship to save the ship, right? Well, so you got, say, 10 people. You have 8 people that are trying to repair it and 2 people that are trying to stop you from repairing it. And so they can do many things. They can turn the lights off. They can lock doors. They can do a lot of shit. They can go through the vents and pop out, kill people, pop back in the vent and go back around. And I laughed in real life when I saw that video of that guy killing that guy, and he turned that corner, right? I mean, turned around, and 2 people were standing right there. And that's when the emergency meeting, someone's going to hit that fucking button, and they're going to say, everybody's going to get pulled into that room, and chaos is going to ensue. Everybody's going to be trying to figure out what's going on. The person's going to be deflecting, and they're going to say that's bullshit. And if they're good at it, they may even get you kicked off after you saw them kill somebody. So it's got so many different aspects to it. I just think it's a super cool, fun game to play, and I'm excited that it's coming to VR.
I've always kind of looked at this game from the standpoint of the detective, right? The person trying to figure out who the killer is. And sure, I mean, that seems cool. Certainly the characters and the motif is really cute looking. But really it wasn't until just now that I considered the other side of this, and that is playing as the killer. Now that sounds like something that could be seriously fun, like sneaking around, trying to create havoc without getting caught. That sounds like it could create some high tension scenarios, high pressure situations. And that sounds like fun. That sounds like the sort of thing that I go into VR for, is to kind of ratchet the tension up like that. So I don't know, man.
It's a great social game. And my favorite memory of it is Zazie the Beast. Shout out to Zazie. We were both playing it in the VR chat, and we were both the killers, right? And so every time we would go back, we would say, well, I would say, oh, no, dude, I was with Zazie. And Zazie's like, yeah, dude, I was with Ruuts. I saw him, dude. We weren't. And so like we were the killers, and we went all the way to the end and killed everybody. It was so much fun. And I don't know. I just get excited.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time. Sounds like something that is going to be a community favorite pretty quickly. And again, just $10, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, well, and that's about the same price as the original. I think they're just trying to get everybody, the people that already play this game are gonna. It's just gonna be in this game now instead. It looks like everything's the same, and that's the cool thing too. Is Wes, when you're like on the side of not the killer, the list of stuff that you have to do is actually pretty cool, pretty fun. You know, you're going around, you're doing these things, and you're trying to, you know, do these tasks. But the paranoia, you're constantly looking over your shoulder to see if someone's coming. And at least if it's true to the OG, there'll be no talking while you're running around. So you're gonna see, it doesn't matter who comes up, you're gonna see somebody come around the corner as you're doing your shit, and instantly you're gonna want to fucking back up. Like if you're not the killer, you're, because you don't know who it is. Because all of a sudden you turn your back for a second and you hear, and now you're in that little room where all the people that are dead are, and it's like, oh fuck, man. So it's just it's cool.
Is there a way that you can defend yourself, or do you just have to not come into contact with the killer?
No, you just, so as a person, you know, you're doing your job, so there is no way to defend yourself outside of not putting yourself in a position where you're screwed. But there's a lot of things going on. Like there's a camera room, Wes. Okay, so and somebody could be in that camera room watching just about any room. I mean, most people aren't sitting in there, but they could be. And so you keeping that in the back of your mind, as you know, because who knows if somebody sees, because all the time you get, so many times you killed somebody, you think you're being slick, and somebody in the thing says, no, I saw Ruuts. I was in the camera room, and you're like, fuck, man. And then you're trying to spin it, be like, no, that's bullshit. I was over there doing the leaf thing, you know. It's just really cool.
Yeah, it seems cool. It seems, again, very, very cute, and I can see easily why it caught on so big with the flat gamers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be better in VR.
Dave Curry joining us. Hello, friend. Says, so this is Knives Out VR. The Thing VR would make so much money. The Thing VR. Okay, yeah, you're right. Actually,
I would love the Thing VR, man. That'd be so crazy, dude. Watch someone's head pop off and run across the floor like a spider. Get your flamethrower.
Yeah. Anyway, one of the things that I did for the first time last week when I was watching the Connect keynote was I checked out the Horizon Worlds for the first time. And I went in there specifically to watch the keynote. I had very low expectations because I've tried for the previous 2 years running to watch it in venues. And it's always been very choppy, very low quality, and I've always ended up having to take the headset off. This year, a complete polar opposite experience. Like, not only was the video quality perfect through the entire session, but they put you in this virtual cinema in Horizon Worlds, and at first it seems very much like a big screen cinema, but as you change, as the topics change, the scenery changed to match it. And one of the coolest moments from the whole Connect keynote was when Among Us came up, because the walls literally peeled away and you're floating in space on kind of this platform, and then all of a sudden these kind of scenes just start flying in all around you from the game, and it was all full 3D VR, very colorful and very good looking. I was quite impressed with it.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like going from a thing where it was like you were underwhelmed, it was choppy, it was garbage, to actually seeing what we have thought in the past of like what these things could be, right? Where you could actually have the walls disappear and you could actually tell people, I had an experience watching this keynote that you couldn't have flat. You couldn't say that before, right? And that's really cool. And this is just the first step.
Terry Blanchard joining us in the chat with the 10 quid donation. Says, awesome show, Wes Ruuts, keep it coming. Thank you for the support. Thank you for being here. We do appreciate you very much.
Absolutely.
Anyway, yeah, what you're saying is very true. It was a unique experience. It was, watching these keynotes and things on YouTube, it isn't a memorable experience. All you remember is what was said during the presentation. But I'll never forget the way the walls kind of melted away in here and changed and turned into kind of Among Us and all the other different things that they talked about. I'll never forget Mark Zuckerberg walking out on the stage right in front of me and talking to us as if he was standing right there. I mean, it even had like localized audio and everything. It was literally like his avatar was a few feet away from me talking right at me.
What if you took your headset
really cool.
off and he was in your room? You'd be like, dude, Zuck, what the fuck, man? Get out of here. I know, that's crazy. Weird. Did he look like a robot in there? Or how did he look up close and personal?
I thought they looked good, man. Honestly, my impressions of Horizon Worlds during the short period of time that I was in there was I honestly couldn't see why it gets so much criticism and hate. Like, it looks pretty good, man. It looks a lot better than fucking Rec Room, which is the thing everyone always compares it to. It looks way better than Rec Room to me. The avatars look better. The environments look better.
I think the difference, Wes, at least for me, when I went into it, because you're describing going into some event where something's actually happening and there's people. When I went into Horizon Worlds, and this is like a year ago, it was fucking dead. It was like nothing. I didn't know where to go. There was nothing. I was wandering around. I was like, this is it? What is this? So maybe a lot of people, just like a lot of things, they played it or tried it at a time where it really did suck, and it's just now starting to come into its own. And what a great time to go into it for the first time, Wes. Crazy.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of the headlines coming out of Connect were about the Quest Pro, but they honestly talked about Horizon just as much, if not more. And what I've done here is I've prepared a little collection of headlines that kind of illustrate that all the different things that are being said about Horizon over the past week. And I'm not going to read every article here, but I do want to kind of point out where the narrative is at right now around this very controversial piece of software. First of all, Meta halves the targeted user base for Horizon Worlds. This from mixednews.com. Meta's proto-metaverse Horizon Worlds still not going well. In addition, strategic decisions and critical issues keep leaking out, further damaging confidence in Meta's metaverse plans. Following the leaked, highly critical internal memos from Metaverse CEO Vishal Shah, the Wall Street Journal has now also gained access to internal papers with usage data on Horizon Worlds. These are significantly below Meta's self-imposed targets and also around 30% below the figures officially communicated in February. Meta significantly lowers their base targets. According to the internal documents obtained by the Wall Street Journal, Meta wanted to bring 500,000 active users to Horizon Worlds by the end of the year. That number has now been cut nearly in half to 280,000. Currently, Horizon Worlds has fewer than 200,000 active users, twice as many of whom are men as women. In February, there was still talk of 300,000 users, but the event platform Venues was included here with users who possibly only dialed in once for a heavily advertised Foo Fighters concert. This would explain the decline in users since then. So again, this very much the opposite of my experience here. Apparently, Meta having a hard time getting people in Worlds, even to try it out for the first time, which is, again, not surprising when you consider the narrative around this piece of software from the day it launched. People have been negative about it since the day we first learned about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I kind of understand it. I mean, they're saying it was heavily, some people tuned in for the heavily advertised Foo Fighters concert. Again, it was an event. It was something that people wanted to check out. It's not at a place now where it's a go-to destination. I mean, if they bought Rec Room and they made, and maybe this happens, they made you go through Horizon to get to the game, there's got to be a reason to go in there. And this is my biggest gripe, and we're going to talk about something else in one of your other articles I won't talk about specifically, but it seems like there's like this timed event, like after the fact of like 2 or 3 days. You know, give us something to watch. You know, it's like that other one that we went to where it was the same experiences over and over again. I mean, if they just gave you something to go back to and they kept giving you new events, you know, whatever the events are, eventually people would just start going there because that's where the shit's going on. Right now, there's no reason to go into it for the most part, except for what you just found out. You went to go to some event and you thought, this is really cool. So,
yeah. For what it's worth, Hussein X agrees that the graphics in Horizon look better than Rec Room. They do, man. It's a lot cleaner looking and a lot, well, I won't say a lot more detailed, but it is more detailed. It's less cartoony. It looks more like Rec Room looks like a hand-drawn cartoon, where Horizon Worlds kind of looks like CGI cartoons.
Yeah.
That would be the best way I could describe it.
Well, if they can figure a way, like I said, make it they should just get rid of the home and just have everybody go into the Horizon World, and you're just dropped in there, and that's where you go every time you load your headset, right? And
that's what it will eventually get to too. I think that we'll all be loading into Horizon by default within a year or two.
Yeah, and there'll probably be really cool things to do there, and or whatever. But
yeah, we'll get around to that. I do want to point out one more headline here too, where you know, the internal team at Meta kind of trying to analyze what is going wrong with it. This from Upload: Horizon Worlds is too buggy, not good enough yet. An executive in charge told the staff. So this is talking about that leaked memo that the last article referred to, where Meta's vice president of Metaverse, Vishal Shah, declared a quality lockdown for the rest of the year to ensure that we fix our quality gaps and performance issues before we open up Horizon to more users. Since launching late last year, we have seen that the core thesis of Horizon Worlds, a synchronous social network where creators can build engaging worlds, is strong, Shaw wrote. But currently, feedback from our creators, users, playtesters, and many of us on the team is that the aggregate weight of paper cuts, stability issues, and bugs is making it too hard for our community to experience the magic of Horizon. Simply put, for an experience to become delightful and retentive, it must first be usable and well crafted. For many of us, we don't spend that much time in Horizon, and our dogfooding dashboards show this pretty clearly. Why is that? Why don't we love the product that we've built so much? Why don't we love the product we've built so much that we use it all the time? The simple truth is, if we don't love it, how can we expect our users to love it? Everyone in the organization should make it their mission to fall in love with Horizon Worlds. And you can't do that without using it. Get in there. Organize times to do it with your colleagues or friends in both internal builds, but also the public build, so that you can interact with our community. So it just shows you here, Ruuts, the guy that's kind of in charge of building the metaverse, basically, for Facebook, is basically shocked that all these noobs that they brought in during their big hiring boom last year aren't passionate about their work. It seems, Ruuts, that they might just be there for the money. Imagine that.
yeah, that's crazy, right? But he's got a point. I mean, how do you expect a user to love it? The best games, the best experiences are made by people that love what they're doing, and they want to make this amazing experience for you. And if this person's showing up, or the team, if everybody is showing up just for the paycheck, how good is the experience really going to be, right? Because they don't give a shit. They're just, at the end of the day, they just have to make it usable, and it doesn't even sound like they're doing that. So hopefully they get in there and they start making some stuff. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, obviously they're going to make it work, or I would imagine, or some version of it. Maybe it won't be this, but I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, what they're going to have to do, and I'm sure that they're already doing this, and I'm sure that it will be effective, it's going to start sending people home, man. If you don't want to make this thing into what it needs to be, then what are we paying you for?
Yeah.
You know, get in there and do it right or go home.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes you wonder too, what are there any limitations? Sometimes the company, their vision limits the people so much so. And you see this in Hollywood a lot with scripts and stuff, where it's just like the actors are just walking through the movie because the script sucks so bad. You know, if your company is telling you can't do this, this, and this, after a while, you're like, well, okay, we'll do what you want, and it's gonna suck, and then you don't care. So, could be both ends, right?
Right, exactly. And you know, we asked the question rhetorically, like, why Rec Room and why not this? I think the biggest difference between a Rec Room and an app like Horizon Worlds is that Rec Room is created by people who are passionate about it. People only go in the Rec Room to create because they want to, right? Like, nobody's getting paid to go in there and do that. Like, people have built that place up purely on passion. And then we have Horizon Worlds, which is just the opposite. And while it might have a stronger foundation from a technical standpoint, if you don't have passionate creators in an application like this, then you really just don't have much of anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Traveling Man 3775. Couldn't virtual strangers have a world to watch the show? If we're going to be able to watch YouTube in there, and after the CRADA interoperability, you guys could have an awesome hangout. That's true, and I would certainly use it if we have some creative types in our community that want to build it. But you won't see me in there doing that anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm not going to be making any Pop 1 worlds either. I'll just be playing them. I'm not the creative type, but I'd love to check out other people's creativity.
Goodbye, Mickey. Mickey Barrios checking out.
Yeah, have a good night, Mickey.
Thanks
Appreciate
for
you
hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Anyway, a couple more headlines just to kind of show that Meta isn't taking this line down. They are going to do everything in their power to entice people into their ecosystem and into Horizon. First of all, Workrooms is getting a 3-screen personal office, sticky notes, and more. Now, Ruuts, here's something that I can get on board with, something that seems very useful. You know, how much money did Masher just spend so that he could have, enough real estate to open up 3 different things on his monitor? And here we have Horizon offering all of their users that for absolutely free. All you got to do is put your headset on.
Absolutely. And I'll even throw Todd in there, who just spent $1,600 for the Pro. You know, so he could do his virtual screens and stuff. You can do it right here on your Quest 2 within Horizons for free. Right?
Yeah, I see stuff like this, and I see all sorts of use cases for it for me as a content creator and a community manager of my own community. This could be very helpful. Basically, the only thing holding me out from using tools like this now is the keyboard. I need to be able to see my keyboard, and I know you can buy expensive keyboards that Quest will pick up and bring into VR for you. But that's not what I need. I need to be able to go pick up a $20 Android keyboard, connect it to my Quest, and use it with this. When that happens, I'll absolutely make use of applications like this.
How much is the keyboard? Is it expensive? It's like $200?
It's like $80, $100, something like that.
It's not
more than
too
I'm
bad.
spending on a keyboard.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not too bad, but I mean, I don't need that. Like, I can just work outside the headset for free and use my cheap keyboard, and it works just fine.
That's true. What you need to do is go into the headset, check it out, and see how much it would look, how good it would look in there. And if it really did seem like it would make sense, then you could try the keyboard for free by buying it from Best Buy and then return it if you don't like it.
Well, here's what Horizon offers that real life doesn't, is that, say I'm working on something on my 3 screens and I want to collaborate with Ruuts. Well, Ruuts just has to put his headset on and walk into the room.
That's
right?
true. How cool is that? That would be pretty cool, right? And somebody was saying that you can put a pass-through area window for your keyboard. You can set it up.
So you can do that now. I know you couldn't do that at first. Like, it must be a newer feature.
I mean, I'd still rather look and see it in VR, but I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that would work. I mean, if you can just put a permanent cutout on your desk, that would work for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, that's not all the cool stuff that they announced for Horizon, not by a long shot. You'll soon be able to watch YouTube VR with friends easily in Horizon Home. Meta announced that Quest users will soon be able to watch YouTube content inside Horizon Home, the first-party social VR space that's finally making it easy to hang out in VR with friends. So, Ruuts, here we have it. We talked a moment ago about how eventually everyone's going to just, by default, boot into Horizon. Well, this is where it's going to be. This is the new version of the old Oculus Home. And just like before, you're going to be able to bring your friends with you. Only this time, you can just hang out and watch YouTube, which has a number of applications from entertainment to work. It makes me wonder, how many people can we get in there? Because, there's a cap on big screen. And the way people have been joining our Patreon this year, I think we're going to have to look for a new home for our 2022 show meetup. I don't think that big screen's going to be able to handle them all.
No, I mean, worst comes to worst, we could do Discord, but I'd rather do it in VR.
Oh yeah, no, it needs to be in VR. This is kind of the thing that makes it fun for everyone, is being able to take our headsets and be in the same space. So yeah, hopefully a good option shows itself, and maybe Horizon Home is it. I mean, YouTube, when I talk about my personal life and what I watch for entertainment, most of it's YouTube. It's not all VR stuff, obviously. Actually, most of it is not VR stuff. But I don't watch like regular TV and stuff. I watch Netflix and I watch YouTube.
I'm the same way. Minus the Netflix, I just watch YouTube. That's it. Because there's it's like the old school days where you could be flipping through the channel and you could find the Discovery Channel or watch some cool documentary on sharks or something. And that shit, those days are gone. The cool TV shows are gone. Now I can actually find all the shit I want to watch on YouTube. And sometimes it's just technological stuff, like Jay's 2 cents or stuff. I just find that stuff entertaining to me, and most of other stuff is not. But I think it's cool. I think there's a lot of different things, different applications for this. Onikazi says 20. He thinks 20 is the top for Horizon for rooms.
Well, that's more than big screen. We might be able to handle it. That might be big enough for us, depending on how many people want to participate.
Yep.
So yeah, when I'm watching YouTube, I do watch some tech stuff on there. I watch some current events and news-oriented things. I listen to a lot of music on YouTube, and probably more than anything, I watch UFC content, MMA fighting. I'm a big fan. With regards to entertainment, I have two main interests. One of them is VR. The other one is mixed martial arts. I love UFC. I watch all the fights. I've been saying for years that they need to be bringing the fights into VR. If they could put me in the front row at a pay-per-view, I would buy tickets to every pay-per-view. I would go and watch it in VR every time. And I've just been waiting patiently for the day to come where that is to happen. So you can imagine, Ruuts, how excited I got a couple weeks ago when the news came out that Mark Zuckerberg was in the arena for a UFC event. Not only was he in the arena, but they closed it off completely to the public and media. It was only Facebook people that were there at all. And that whole event was basically private just for Zuckerberg. And I knew immediately why Dana White would do something like that. Why would Dana White completely shut down an event for Zuck? Well, that's because he's trying to work a deal. And within a week, or maybe it was within 2 weeks, we learned the following, that UFC and Meta are partnering to bring MMA to VR. This, my friend, is a dream come true for me. This is perfect. This is everything that I want. And if, this specific announcement, at least at the start here, is for smaller regional shows. But I'm sure this is a beta test. If people get in there and watch it, if the quality's good and it goes off seamlessly, this will become something bigger. I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, I have some questions. Like, I want to know how much the ticket would be. I don't know. Did they say in this how much the ticket is? And is it something that, because like right now, if I get a fight, I can have my friends over, they watch with me. But this is like a thing, like if you wanted to say, go watch this with Michelle, would you have to buy 2 tickets, or would you be able to go in on one thing? You know what I mean? Because I'm sure it's not going to be that cheap. I would imagine like $50-$60 probably, right? For like the main fights down the road. I don't know about now.
That may be what the case is for the bigger pay-per-views later, hypothetically. Right. And they may slash it in half just because of what you're saying. Because, when you buy a fight in real life, you can invite your friends over. You can't really do that here. But what you can do here is you, like if you and I wanted to watch the fights together, like I don't care if your avatar's next to me or not. That doesn't matter. I just want to be able to talk to you and share the experience. We could connect in an Oculus party call, right? And then you could go into it and I could go into it. And even though we can't see each other, we'll know that we're watching the same thing and we can sit and talk about it and share the experience, which is cool. For now, I'm sure it will, again, the tech will evolve and it'll get better over time. But in terms of what does it cost right now, if I understand correctly from reading this article, you just have to be a subscriber to UFC Fight Pass now, which is $10 a month. It's not expensive at all.
That's not bad, actually. And that may just be the model down the road. And that's the way they sell this thing. I mean, $10 would be fantastic, because then you're it doesn't matter. Like, okay, so if I want to host a fight or I want to go to a friend's and somebody's paying a lot of money for that fight, right? Or everybody's splitting it, you're definitely not getting it down to $10, and you're telling me it's a better experience. Now, my question is the wrap, the 180 wrap, a lot of people in chat are saying it's not 360 and it's not 3D. It is 3D. It is 3D. Okay, so it's 3D 180. And this is the thing. Anybody, like you're watching a fight. Let me ask you, when you watch a fight on TV, how often do you turn around and look behind you to watch the fight? You're watching the ring. Like, that's such a weird argument. It doesn't need to be 360. You don't need to see the audience. Like, what are you looking at behind you? You're in the front row, enjoy it, and the wrap is fine. Or the 180, I think, anyway.
Yeah, this was one of the things that really surprised me about this was, typically when you go into venues to watch an event, it's on a flat screen. And you're like, why am I here? Sure, I'm in a 3D theater, but the event itself is flat. I can do this on my TV. I guess it's cool that I can go in with my friends, but, I would rather just watch it on my 4K screen if I had a choice. So that's why I was so surprised when they announced that this was in VR 180 format, which is a 3D a 3D codec. My VR cameras that I use, that's the codec that they use. It's VR 180. It's 3D 180. And you're right, man. 180 is a lot. You take your hands and do this, and everything in front of your hands the cameras can see. So literally, you're just talking about the crowd behind you.
Yeah.
You're not missing anything by not being able to see that. Again, I was not expecting this to be 3D. So the fact that it is, that is huge. That is a big step up from anything we've seen thus far. And again, I couldn't be more excited for this.
As long as the fidelity stays good. Because that's what somebody was saying. JS, venues downgrades too damn much. I'm assuming he's talking about, like, sometimes you'll have those moments where it, like, doesn't look as good. I don't know. But sounds like it looks good.
A lot of people are quick to nope out of this stuff. We saw it with Stageverse when we went to see the Muse concert, when you first step into that, it looks like dog shit. And a lot of people were like, no, I'm not staying here and watching this. But if you hang out for like 5 minutes and let the buffer catch up, the quality improves. It has, it's dynamic. The quality adapts to your connection speed. So as the buffer builds up, the quality gets better. So I'm hopeful that there's something like that at play here, so that even if it's not very great at first, the longer you sit there, the better it gets.
I think it will be. This is why, because Dana White is very meticulous about his organization, and I mean, I don't think he'd put it on there unless it was going to be really good. You know what I mean? I think this is going to be a big thing, and it's kind of exciting.
All right, so Hack the Game Cat says, yeah, if it's 3D and it's clear, I'd pay for that. Dude, I would pay for that. I mean, if it's $50 a month for the pay-per-view, if I get to sit fucking cage side for a pay-per-view, take my money, son. Take it. I would pay for it gladly.
Yeah, and this is the one I was talking about. I think it said it was for 3 days that they were you could watch it from 25th to the 27th or something. A replay if you didn't catch it. Like, I think they should let you watch it for more than 3 days, maybe a week, 2 weeks, a month. I don't know. Or have it rotate on replays. That's a small window for people to rush and try to watch it. And that's kind of the problem. Because after this event, this is my point, when there's nothing going on, like, why, at least at this point, why are they going to Horizon or wherever, you know? If you leave it on there, at least other people that didn't see it are going to be drawn in there, and you start leaving these things on there, you know, you have more to watch.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm sure that there's some reason for that. I'm sure they're not just trying to say, fuck you, everybody.
I'm sure it's contractual, but it still sucks.
Yeah. Anyway, they did stream this live, which is cool. So what that means is this isn't a case of you having to catch a replay of fights that you already know who won.
Or you're hoping you don't hear who won because you're about to watch it.
If you're available, you're going to be able to catch these fights live, which is fucking awesome. But if you're not able to catch it live, there is a period that you can watch it on demand. And for this specific fight, this was from the LFA organization, which does have a deal with UFC Fight Pass. This article came out the day before, and I wasn't able to catch this live, unfortunately, on short notice like that. But there is a period from
24th to 27th or 23rd.
Yeah, 23rd to the 27th. So 5 days there that you're going to be able to catch it on demand, and I can assure you that I will be going in that week and checking this out. So if you're curious, stay tuned. And I'll have more to say on it. If you want to check it out with me, hit me up on Discord. And again, I don't think our avatars can go in and sit together. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe they can. But what we can do is we can party up and talk while we're watching it. So hit me up.
Cool.
Anyway, we need to find out more about this. We need to get the schedule, like the full schedule. Again, I'm sure this is a beta test on the part of the UFC to see if the quality of the content is good enough for UFC to put their name on, and also to see what kind of interest there is out there in it. Although I'm sure UFC understands that people aren't going to turn up for a LFA fight the same way that they would turn up for UFC 282. You know what I mean? So I think if the quality's good of the video stream, that we're going to see this expand pretty quickly. And even, you know, though the marketplace is rather small right now, Dana White has used VR. And Dana White knows how awesome it is, which means Dana White knows that it's going to be a big deal.
He wants to get on the ground floor, right?
Exactly. He wants to get out ahead of it. He wants to be a trailblazer with regard to this type of content.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Dana White plays Creed.
He did. He played Creed.
Yeah.
Okay. I know Joe Rogan. Somebody said, yeah, Joe Rogan's in VR, been in VR too. So yeah.
Yeah. One of Dana White's best friends Matt Serra is big into Pop 1.
Oh, wow. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know what the reasoning is. There needs to be a speed up in that time frame as well, because it's like 9 days. And say, you want to watch, you missed the fight and you want to watch the replay, and you didn't see, you're trying not to find out who won. You're not going to wait you're not going to be able to not find out for 9 days. A few hours maybe, right? You should be able to go that next morning, several hours later, and be able to go right into it. So hopefully that time frame decreases as well as they move along with this beta test, right? Or whatever you call it.
That would be nice. It would be nice. If it were available sooner, I would have already been in there watching it.
Yeah, we'd be talking about it now.
Yep. Anyway, stay tuned for more. Again, hit me up if you want to check out some fights with me. I'm definitely going to be checking out this one when it comes back around. Anyway, that brings us to this week's reminders. And what's out this week, Ruuts? Well, a few things, honestly. First of all, a significant update to a game that has been hanging out in early access for a long, long time. Host is a VR puzzle game set inside a giant alien. So this is a game that's been in early access for years on Steam, Ruuts, that just got a huge update, a whole new section of the game added. And this is an interesting concept for a game. And I'm not just saying that because of the setting, that you're inside a giant alien, but the game itself is a bit of I don't know, it's kind of revolutionary in its approach. No menus, Ruuts, no instructions, no artificial locomotion. This is a room scale game. It's basically a puzzle game that doesn't give you any kind of help. You got to figure it out for yourself. It's very challenging, specifically because the people that designed these puzzles made them to kind of break the training that we've had. So VR puzzle games and puzzle games in general, they all kind of work in similar ways, and they kind of train us to think a certain way with regard to how we solve puzzles. Well, this game is designed to go against all of that. And if you stay in those old mindsets, you're going to get stuck in here. You have to think outside the box to progress in a game like Host. And I just love the idea of kind of uneducating people with how to play puzzle games. That's why I added this into our lineup. More than the super weird setting, is the super weird approach to a puzzle game.
Yeah, it looks trippy. Who doesn't want to go inside an alien these days? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's super cool, and I'm a little scared of it, if I'm being honest. If the puzzles are harder. But I guess it's just thinking outside the box, right? So kind of sounds like a little bit of an approach like Bone Lab did, right? They just throw you in the game and let you figure things out, right?
Yeah, I mean, but this is to like the the nth degree, because there's no menus or anything. And like the buttons, you don't use the buttons on your controllers. You just use your controllers basically to represent your hands. This would be a perfect Quest hand tracking game. So maybe one day they'll have the resources to be able to bring it over, because literally all your controllers are no buttons, no nothing. It's just you using your virtual hands to interact with the world that you're in, and they give you no clues. You just have to figure it out.
Does it mean there's no buttons? Does that mean no grabbing stuff? Like you're just like.
Well, I mean like the face buttons. You don't push A, you don't push B.
Oh, I gotcha.
Stuff. The only thing that you're doing is interacting with your in-game hands.
Yeah, sounds cool. Oh, we got the dating site in case anybody wants to, get lucky for a while before I remove it. Oh, I removed one of them.
Anyway, Host Phase 2 is lengthy in a Shakespearean way, according to the developer. Act 2 is always the longest, and the game kind of forces you to take a break. The game kind of quits itself. His reasoning is that he hopes people will use that moment to process what just happened. Key features include a chilling ASMR-inspired sound design created with top vocal work, built for room-scale VR from the ground up, designed for the spooky season with dark visuals and gooey textures, immersive puzzles that beg your curiosity and tear your mind apart, and it only uses hands for the entire experience. No need to press the buttons on the controller.
That's crazy.
Yep. This game is typically $10. It's on sale for $8 right now on Steam. Be sure to check it out. I want to check it out.
Yeah, it sounds, especially since we were just talking about there's not too many games that we can try and play for Halloween that we haven't already gone through in different years, right? There's some, but
this is one that I would have to break out the virtual desktop and go into my living room and play it, because it's all room scale. Like there's no locomotion or anything.
How big a space do you need? Does it say?
I'm sure it kind of tailors to your space, but I'm sure you probably have to have a 5x5 or 6x6 space meters. That is.
Yeah. Crazy.
But that's not all this week, Roots. We've got a brand new release that has been awaited for a long time.
Do you think all of us are gonna make it out of here alive?
I mean, I'd like to believe it.
But you don't.
I guess not.
Good. Means you're not stupid.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
Shit. They're coming!
Looks like we're done here.
Keep your guard up. Watch out!
Well, there we go.
So Philip in chat says that Host is on Viveport Infinity as well. So there you go.
Yeah. I was just thinking, man, I'm going there now, right?
For sure. I mean, that'd be cool to check out. That'd be a cool stream, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or it could be a very boring stream if if you get stuck, which is likely.
Well, if I go in there and stream it, probably. If Wes goes in there and stream it, you'll probably get through it, bro. You got that puzzle mind.
We'll see. Well, apparently having that puzzle mind can be a detriment in a game like this.
Oh, we need to see Scion stream it then. Watch him melt down. Like, I don't understand. I'm the best at every puzzle game ever. Why can't I get this puzzle?
Anyway, Requisition VR from our friends at Arcadia finally dropping this week after a few delays. The game is launching into Steam Early Access this week with a lot of extra content, Roots, from even on top of the demo version that we played last week. Apparently from this trailer, there is a proper story campaign that you're going to be able to play through with your friends, which looks really cool. So I'm glad that we're kind of considering getting back into this one as a team, because I want to definitely, I want to check that out for sure.
Yeah, because we almost went in there. I'm glad we waited, for sure. Because now I want to check this out. You and Mash.
Anyway, not long to wait. 4 days. This game comes out on Thursday, October 20th. Still no idea what the price is going to be. But, if Hinge is any kind of indication, it's going to be very fairly priced.
Yep.
No, I was just going to segue into it, but one more release out this week. One more for the PCVR ranks.
Welcome to Scottsdale, the top-rated social metaverse. Your upload is in good hands.
Good hands.
Hey, you, wake up. They're coming for us. Find a tube and get us out.
Scottsdale is literally collapsing underneath us. We're running out of time.
We're all gonna die. Sucked into the vortex of corrupted data. Dead. Deleted. Flaming in the pits of metaverse hell.
The name's Gavin. You and I merged. Yeah, that's right. Merged. Take out that turret, quick!
Look at you five merged together in that rustic chaz.
Try another headset? How about another headset?
They sure are monstrous, aren't they? The efficiency of that bite.
Provision update. Canned beans will expire in 200 years.
There's one way out of Scottsdale. We're gonna find it.
Virtual Reality 2 coming to Steam October 25th. Well, I guess this technically coming out next week, not this week, but a semi-popular Quest 2 title, definitely a sequel to a very popular Gen 1 VR title. Users should note that this is not like the first game. It's very different in some very fundamental ways, but it is just as odd and strange as the first game was, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was telling you during the trailer that I didn't like the first one, and then you reminded me you didn't really play the first one. You couldn't get past the into the actual campaign, and I'm watching some of that stuff, and it actually is intriguing. I might have to go check that out again. I did like the first one. It was just the second one. The way it started was a little slow or weird, I guess. But what was I expecting after the first one, right? So
yeah, you've got to mess around in this opening area a little bit, interact with the characters to trigger events that start the game off. And I don't know if you just missed one of the events or two of them, but the game never kicked off for you. You never really got into it. You still kind of were hanging out in that beginning area. So I can't promise you that you'll love this game, but I can promise you that it's not what you played.
Yeah, absolutely. Onakazi says, how could you not like messaging a giant stick of butter? I did like some of the first one, man. Like, that was funny. It was definitely funny, but it did have a dark ending, like Oriole Haptic Ghost Cat says. It was a very, very weird story, but it was good. I liked it. So I think I should check it out.
Yeah, I never played the first one. I thought the second one was pretty decent. I played a little bit of it, played a few hours, and enjoyed my time in it.
The first one, the story was what it was all about, and it just was actually really good, I thought.
Cool. Anyway, this is coming from Tender Claws next week on the 25th to Steam. So keep your eyes out if this is something you've been waiting on. Anyway, that's going to bring us to our Wishlist segment. This is where we all get together in real time and do our part to support some developer out there who really just wishes we would all just go wishlist their game. So why don't we do that really quick, you guys? Let's go wishlist the game. I've already decided. In fact, I've already wishlisted my game. I wishlisted Host because I thought it was very unique and original, and I want to play it. So that was the game I chose. What are you going to wish list this week, Roots?
I think I might do the same thing. That's on Steam, right?
Oh, yes. It's
I mean, that's not where we'll play it, but right, we'll play it on the Viveport. Well, actually, somebody said Viveport Infinity. I think Space Dennison said when they tried Viveport Infinity, it did not run right for them. So,
well, I never have any trouble with it, but you know,
yeah,
who knows? Different
That's
people
true.
have different computers.
Yeah, certain games are weird too. So I guess we'll have to give it a shot for sure.
Yeah, definitely going to take the free option first before we go pay for a title.
Yeah. Well, we're already paying. Well, we're already have the access the other way, so it makes no sense.
Anyway, thank you out there to everyone who participated. It's really important for these developers that we wishlist their games. It helps them kind of achieve some status on the various storefronts, and it's a big deal to them. That's why they always ask us to do it. So again, thank you to everyone who participated. Feel free to let us know in the comments below what you wishlisted this week.
What's Figment XR? Do you know?
Figment XR?
Yeah, JS says it drops on the 25th in the Quest store.
I have no idea what that is.
Me neither. Well, somebody out there, I guess look it up, and we'll talk about it next week. That's pretty close. 25th, 9 days.
It's coming, Roots.
Yeah.
We got to get ready.
Yeah, I'm not okay. Yeah, we got to get ready. Oh, man, I think it's a HoloLens. Figment XR. Figment XR for the HoloLens. Multi-purpose application for easily creating, collecting, and playing in augmented reality. It's $15. Yeah, I don't have that headset, so I'm not gonna pick it up. But that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
The power of Google.
Any of that stuff. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, the people talking about Tilt 5 and HoloLens. And that's not something I ever really got into AR. Like, I've always maintained that when AR is good enough, it'll be part of my VR. So, and we're starting to see that, right? We're starting to see that with Quest Pro and later on Quest 3.
Yeah, it's merging. It's happening, Wes.
Space Innocent, oh shit, ain't Figment the Pikmin knockoff? That's what I thought of when I heard that, actually.
Yeah, I had no idea. I thought, well, this is a job for Google, and Google provided. Thank you, Google. We appreciate you.
Wolveraza wishlisted Blood Trail. That's an interesting one. Violent game. Terry Blanchard, Grimlord, which was a title I actually looked at. It's another one I think coming out soon, maybe even this week.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, that's going to bring us to our final reminder this week and every week, and that is how you can do your part to support us, our channel, and our community. Of course, if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing by clicking that big red button, but don't forget to also ring the bell so that you can be notified next time we go live here on Virtual Strangers, which will probably be this Tuesday because October is getting by me, man. And we got to get some horror games out there in the air. So, yeah, I think I might stream this Tuesday and do something scary.
Yeah, it's a good idea. What are you going to stream?
I don't know. Mayhaps one of the titles that we're going to be talking about this Wednesday, which I think still kind of in the air a little bit, but I think we have decided that we're going to do something that hasn't really been done on any other channels that I've seen, and that is we're going to inject 3D into a horror game called Tormented Souls, which is very popular on Steam, very highly rated Resident Evil style game. So
Scared.
Looking forward to that.
Scared already.
Which I don't know if I can, if I'm able to stream stuff from Restream. I think I can stream it in VR. I don't know. We'll figure it out. If I can't do that, we'll do something else. The point is, you want to make sure you ring that bell so that you can be notified when I go live. Of course, if you want to do something more to support us, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon. All we ask is $3 per month, and you get access to our weekly show notes, insider updates, exclusive content, all for less than $1 per week. And I just want to shout out all the new patrons. We've had a really good month. We put on a few new people. Even got a new one since Wednesday, and two in the last week. So I want to shout out Looper, the Game Cat, and I want to shout out Urseek, the Game Cat. Game Cat showing up big for us on Patreon, and we appreciate you all.
Game Cat's taking over, yo. I like to see it. Game Cats are awesome.
Yeah, like we said last week, I'm not going to sit here and say that we couldn't do this without you, but we certainly couldn't do everything that we do without you. We're able to do a lot more because of the financial support that you all provide.
Yeah.
And we thank you infinitely for it. We very much appreciate it.
Yeah, something coming up soon, too, right?
Tatum says Tormented Souls is a good one if you like old school Resident Evil games.
Well, we do.
Which I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And last but not least, we'd like to invite you to the Virtual Strangers Discord. That is absolutely free, and you'll find an invitation link in the description below. We're there, always, 24/7, hanging out, lurking in the shadows, reading comments, and never replying. No, I'm just kidding. We do reply. We do reply sometimes. You can see that. We've been talking today about PC components, right, Ruuts?
Yeah, absolutely. People asking for advice on what to get, and man, I was actually surprised how many people are, giving their advice, and it's all good, solid advice from different perspectives, right?
Yep.
So,
anyway, it's a family atmosphere. Everybody kind of knows each other and hangs out, and we're all friendly and respectful, and we invite you to join the family. Again, all you got to do is click the link down there, and you're in. That's it. Just click the link.
You're in. Yep. And it's like Cheers, where everybody knows your name, right? It's like home.
Where everybody knows your name. Anyway, I think it's our show, Ruuts. It was a good one, friend. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you as well.
And thank you to Wolf Raza with the $2 donation. Says, great show. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Man, 15 days. We're coming up so fast on this, all right?
Yeah, it won't slow down, man. I think we haven't quite put it out there yet what we're doing on Wednesday because we haven't finalized it. But I can almost guarantee you that it's going to be all horror games. We're just going to do scary stuff this week because it's the time to play scary stuff, damn it.
Yeah, and we realized, oh shit, half the month's over. We haven't even done one yet. And so it's the best way to force it to happen, right? Is to put it in the show and then make it happen.
Also, we are running a giveaway on our last episode of Strangers in the Night for Federation 77. If you'd like to win a copy, go back and check out that episode to learn how to win. We're going to draw this Wednesday another winner. We already gave out 2 of them, but we have another one. We're going to give it to you. Possibly. Be sure to go check that out as well.
What a cool game. I'm excited. I switched over early, Wes. What the hell? Barely just bumped it with my hand. I'm excited for his other game coming too, so but that game is amazing.
Absolutely. GB, the ROLE Haptic Ghost Cat with the $1.99 donation says, choo-choo. Thank you. Thank you. Again, Game Cat showing up big as they always do. Thank you, GB, for your support today and always. Very much appreciated.
Yep.
And with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Ruuts, I'm Wes. We will see you very, very soon. Bye.
Take it easy.